Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the NFL Sunday Morning Show right here on the Hardcore Sports Network. I'm here with my guy James from Steelers by the Lake podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I'm doing good, and our guy Big C just popped in. How you doing, man?
Nice.
All right, how y'all doing this morning?
We're doing good, man. We're doing good.
Good.
Just relaxing. Good weekend for me. How about you? How was your weekend?
Oh, same as any other day, really.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
all
I
right.
bet.
It was all right. It was all right.
So before we actually get started, Big C, how do you feel about your Miami Dolphins offseason thus far? Before the draft, how do you think they've been doing?
Well, it was definitely a shock to me. I would say, uh, Stephen Ross at the end of the seasons made a statement that the status quo wasn't going to be good enough. So
Right.
everybody assumed that that maybe Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel were on the hot seat. So
Mm,
we were expecting, we didn't have a lot of cap room, but the salary cap in the NFL is a joke anyway. You can manipulate it in so many different ways that it makes it very difficult for even people like us to understand. But for the common fan, it's extremely hard to understand. You would think you'd have this amount of money and you can't go over it, but that's not the reality. You can turn this contract into a signing bonus, and this contract you can move down the road 5 years. So it's very difficult to understand. We didn't have a lot of cap room, but again, there was a way that we could free up 80 million in cap. You know what I mean?
mm,
So we were expecting. Well, I know myself and a lot of Dolphins fans were expecting, hey, these two are on the hot seat. They're going to go out and make the improvements to this team needed to make us a contender. Because in
mm,
reality, the Miami Dolphins have a lot of great players, a lot of great players. They are just missing a couple of key players in key positions. So I thought that we'd be very aggressive in free agency. I didn't think we were going to go out and necessarily get the big name guys, but I thought that we'd get the next tier down, and the next tier down would have been good enough to make us a contender. Uh, but that hasn't happened. They've signed minimal contracts, uh, a lot of 1 year deals, a lot of very mediocre players coming off injuries, which is a Chris Greer specialty. And I've just kind of been shocked. We let Calais Campbell sign with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what that was about. Uh, with Teron Armstead opening, it seems like we got more we got more issues now after free agency than we did before free agency. So I haven't been happy with it, but what can you do?
right, right. James, how about you and your Steelers? I know we've been talking a lot, but any more updates about your Steelers at all?
I'll tell you what, I can understand the frustration Big C's got going on there because one of the most important things any team can
I think
do.
it's your audio again.
Oh boy, and let me try to fix it. Hold on, give me a sec.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Going,
You're good.
yeah.
You're good. Take your time. Let's see here. Damn, I can't find the. Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right, we good now?
What about the built-ins? Is this any better?
We're good. We're good.
All right. Headphones are no good today. You never know what's going to happen with electronics. It's a joke, man.
Right,
So
right.
I understand the frustrating feeling that Big C's got going on because, like, every team knows you've got to have your quarterback, and Pittsburgh's going, and now we're a week and a half away from the draft, and there's still a huge question of what the heck is going to happen at quarterback. Now, myself, I believe that the deal is all but done with Aaron Rodgers, but that's not the solution I wanted in the first place because I really feel like he doesn't have much left in the tank, if anything at all.
Yeah.
So you put yourself in not a very good situation for this upcoming season at the most important position. I like the move to go get DK Metcalf. That's great. But can Rodgers get the ball to him? I'm not 100% sure he can. So I'm a little worried about that. They made some nice upgrades in certain positions, but the glaring one is the quarterback position. And if they don't figure it out, we're probably looking at another 9-8 or or 10-7 season with getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs again. And that is just going to make every Steelers fan call for Mike Tomlin's head.
Right, right. How do you feel about Mason Rudolph, though? You're not really a fan of him, or?
So I'm in the minority with Mason. I actually kind of like him. I'm
Oh,
smart
okay.
enough to understand that he's not a franchise guy, right? He's
Yeah,
not what you want for your starting quarterback. But the way he finished out the 2023 season with 3 straight wins and some good performances, he does have the capability of winning some games. I just don't think he can get you more than 9 or 10 in a season because I don't think he can hang with the big time offenses when you go up against Kansas City and Miami and the Bills, and you start seeing like the Eagles and these teams that can put up a bunch of points.
yeah.
I don't think that's Mason's game, man. I think he's your game manager type. And you can get 9 or 10 wins with a guy like that, but don't expect 11 or 12 in winning your division. I just don't think that's a reality.
Yeah. And now I see Steeler fans getting all mad about JJ Watt posting on a Instagram story with
Um,
the peace sign. That's nothing.
It's, in my opinion, it's much to do about nothing. If you look at most of his pictures on Instagram, it's him with the peace sign up. So it's just kind of what he does. So
Okay.
it's the
Okay.
boring time of year, right? Like we're in that lull. All of free agency has pretty much happened. We're a week and a half away from, in my opinion, the most exciting time of the year in the NFL draft. And writers are bored, so they're
Yeah.
looking for something to write about. And so the speculation is that he's mad that he didn't get his deal yet. I don't think that's the case at all. He still has 1 year left on his contract. And if anything, he should be happy that they've waited because now he's going to get paid more than he would have otherwise because they're pretty much forced to pay him more than Myles Garrett got paid now.
Yeah. How much do you think he'll get?
Well, there's not a
That's
there's not a
terrible.
world that there's not a world that there's not a world that the Steelers let him go anyway, no matter
Ding, ding,
what
ding.
it is. So he better get happy there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it 100%. I think that he will settle for 40 and a quarter per year as long as it's more than the 40 that Miles got. He won't care.
My God. Really, that is just crazy to hear. Oh my God.
When you're not paying a quarterback, you got to pay somebody, right?
That is true. That is true. So for me and my Eagles, I mean, we're just stacking the depth. We're getting a couple of key pieces. We got Ojolari for the edge. We got a what is his name again? Adoree, the corner. We
Jackson.
also got a Dory Jackson. Thank you. Yeah, we got them. We stacked the offensive line and stuff like that. We're just waiting for the draft. And according to Adam Schefter, that the Eagles are most likely to make a trade on draft night. So I'm not surprised here. And there was a rumors that the Eagles are actually favored to get Tyreek Hill. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I really do not. But seeing crazy stuff. So Big C, I wanted to ask you about that. How do you feel about Tyreek Hill? Do you think he's gonna actually get traded on draft night?
I don't think that. I mean, anything is possible, but it makes zero sense for us to trade him on draft night.
Yeah.
Us trading Tyreek Hill before June 1st actually cost us $500,000 more against our salary cap.
Yeah.
To trade him, it costs us $500,000 more. It's a $28 million cap hit, and it makes zero sense. We save no money. It costs us more money for him not to play with us. He's the best player in the Miami Dolphins by far. I'm the minority as a Dolphin fan where, as long as he's not beating women, raping women, beating children, I don't overly give a shit what you do off the field. You know what I mean? You get paid to be a football player. I'm a human being. I've made mistakes in my life. These guys aren't perfect just because they're rich. Not every player can be a role model. Do I want my kids growing up acting like Tyreek Hill does? Absolutely not. But I know that he scores touchdowns and he gets a lot of yards for the Miami Dolphins, and that's what he's paid to do. You know what I mean? He had an argument with his wife where the mother-in-law called the cops. I've had that happen. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so he can't play football for us because of that, or because he pulled himself out of the second half of a game where he played all year injured when it was a meaningless game because the Chiefs started all their backups against the Denver Broncos and we were eliminated from the playoffs. He pulled himself out and was like, you know, I'm done. I'm not going. I got broke wrist I played with all year. I'm not going back in. It's pointless. I mean, fans got a short memory. I've been a Dolphin fan for 30 plus years. I remember bad times, and we haven't even won a Super Bowl or really even competed for a Super Bowl. But this isn't bad times. If we trade Tyreek Hill, we're going back to bad times. You know what I mean? What are we gonna? He is our offense. He is the one person on this team that other teams fear, and we're not gonna get anything in return. Do I want the Eagles' 5th round draft pick? No. A 6th round draft pick for Tyreek Hill.
Hey, we'll give you a 4th. We'll give you a 4th, a 5th. Doesn't matter.
Come on. So he can go up and put, you know what I mean? And how's that going to work out? How's that going to work out for your team? You know what I mean? Like, you think adding Tyreek Hill is all sweet, but AJ Brown going to have a problem. There's not enough balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to feed Saquon Barkley. There ain't enough balls for them boys.
For me,
so
I
think it's stupid.
Yeah, I agree. How do you feel about this whole Tyreek Hill situation, James?
I think Big C's onto something there. AJ Brown's already a little grumpy on how many touches he's getting. You think he's going to be happier if Tyreek's in town? I doubt it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with him. What is he really doing off the field, right?
Yeah.
How serious are the transgressions? If it's not that bad, man, you just put up with it because your marquee players, there's always going to be some stuff. Very few of them are choir boys that are out there just going to church on Sundays and doing nothing wrong all week long and donating to the homeless. And that's just not reality. These guys are highly competitive. And with that comes big egos. And with that sometimes comes some mistakes. But again, if it's not that bad, then you just kind of put up with it until you can't put up with it anymore.
I mean, there's
with it.
Not to cut you off. I just to give you guys an understanding of the type of things that there has been, and it hasn't been 1-2 things. It's been multiple things. But he had an incident at a boating dock with the person that he rented a boat from. There was a situation where the cops got called. There's video Tyreek trying to get at the guy a little bit, but no charges were filed. Nothing happened from it. OnlyFans model sued him for she fell and had to have surgery on her knee. Because I don't even know the situation. Like, her kid and his kid play sports together or something. She fell while he was training her. She hurt her knee. She sued him, but they had sex afterwards. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This latest incident with his wife, his mother-in-law has been living with him since his newborn daughter has been born. So for 6 months, I can only imagine what that's like. So they have a disagreement. He gets mad. He throws the laptop. He tosses it on the ground. The mother-in-law, oh my God, calls the cops. You know what I mean? Because they're giving him a hard time. You need to do more with the kids. You're not doing enough around the house. I make $100 million. You know what I mean? You go do the dishes. You know what I mean? Like, you change the kid's diaper. That's how I feel. You know, maybe I'm wrong. You know, but the cops were called. His house caught on fire. He was at practice though. You know what I mean? Like, how's that his fault? How's that? You know what I mean? So, but the major things with Dolphins fans is he took himself out of the second half of the week 18 game against the New York Jets and said, I'm done. I'm not going back in. Mind you, he played all year with a broken wrist. All year. He pulled himself out. The Broncos in the chart we had a slight chance of making the playoffs. The Chiefs and the Broncos were playing week 18. We needed the Broncos to lose. The Chiefs started people from the bus station, third string, fourth string players. They were getting blown out. He looked at the scoreboard, seen it. We were losing to the Jets. He's like, I'm done. He got frustrated. They tried to get an interview from him after game, post game. He's like, I don't want to do an interview. They're like, Tyreek, you got to. I don't want to. Tyreek, you got to. So they pull him in. He's still upset. He's never missed the playoffs. He's very competitive. They start shooting questions at him. He says, listen, I got to go. Like, pretty much like, listen, if they ain't going to put a winner around me, if they're not going to put the ball in my hands, I got to get out of here. Dolphins fans can't handle the truth. I can handle it. Give them the ball. Put some more players around them. Do what you got to do. I wouldn't be happy neither. So that's the gist of the off the field stuff, that Dolphin fans are ready to give away the best player we've had in the last 25 years. And it just blows my mind. Like I said, we can't get no draft capital for him. He's not worth anything because of the off the field stuff. Not to mention teams are under the impression that he don't want to be a Dolphin no more. So why would you offer a second round, a first round? Not to mention that second round pick's not going to be Tyreek Hill. That third round pick's not going to be Tyreek Hill. Our GM and our head coach, you would think that they're not long for the job if they're not producing a winner with as much money as they've invested in the team. So why would they want to trade Tyreek? We still got to pay $28 million whether Tyreek's on the team or not. So there's no financial incentive. So make it make sense.
This sounds eerily similar to what Pittsburgh went through with Antonio Brown. Eerily similar. He was never in any major trouble off the field. There was always something minor, always some baby mama drama. There was always something going on, and it got a little more extreme as time went on until he just didn't want to be there anymore, and they ended up trading him for like a 5th round pick or something to the Raiders. But yeah, it sounds so familiar because that was the Steelers' offense. He had that 6-year stretch that we just haven't seen from wide receivers. And I feel like Tyreek is that same kind of elite wide receiver that AB was.
AB's his hero too. He thinks that he thinks AB's the greatest receiver of all time.
That explains a ton, unfortunately. But you know what? There's no arguing with the production those guys had on the field. So.
Absolutely. I mean, if we were able to get something for him, maybe I can understand it. But the fact that we got to pay him, we can't go sign a replacement because there's no cap room. We're not going to be able to draft nobody. A 5th round pick ain't even going to probably make the team. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Yeah. So you're telling me Jalen Waddle is, we got Jalen Waddle. So what? Jalen Waddle has not lived up to the first round draft position that he was taken in. You know what I mean? Like, he just hasn't. Jamar Chase was picked 3 picks before him. Are they the same player? Hell no. You know what I mean? So I just don't see but Miami Dolphin fans, because he pulled himself out of a meaningless game, he's enemy number 1. He quit on this team. He's a quitter. You guys forget what he has done for this team. Every time he touches the ball, you have the possibility of something exciting, extravagant happening for your team. And we have no one to replace that. And I think Dolphin fans, if Tyreek Hill is traded, if they do move on, and I think they probably will move on from him before the start of the season. After June 1st, we can say $14 million. But I think people are going to regret it because Tua Tagovailoa is not going to be the same. This team's not going to be the same, and we're going to be heading in the opposite direction. But they're asking for it. The fans are asking for it. You ask for it, you shall receive,
Do you think that means if we see a wide receiver in round 1 for the Dolphins, like say What was it, Golden that ran the 4.29? Somebody like that. If that happens, does that mean Tyreek's gone like the day after?
I mean, I think that they still, like I said, I don't hold anything, I can't say that they won't do it, but after June 1st is the day that we can save 14 million. Anything before that, it costs us an extra $500,000. Now, $500,000 to a billionaire is not nothing, but the salary cap ramifications, the 14 million is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, if we take a wide receiver in the first round, I think that definitely means Tyreek's out of here. But if they trade him before June 1st, they are stupid. They are stupid. You don't need that extra 5th round pick this year.
Yeah.
Get it next year. You know what I mean? It save the 14 million if you're gonna do it, but I hope to God they don't, because I will lose all. I don't have a lot of hope for the season, but I will lose the rest of the hope that I do have. Yeah. And it'll be a miserable season before the season even starts.
So I just gotta ask here. We all know about Tua Tagovailoa's injury history with concussions and stuff. Do you get nervous each time he steps on the field? And like, how do you see it? I'm like, for me, I would not want him as my quarterback if he's gonna keep on getting injured. I want him to retire, honestly.
Tua, listen, Tua is a good quarterback. He gets a lot of unwarranted criticism.
Right.
I can't remember a time that a quarterback was under the limelight as much as Tua was. You know what I mean? Every move he makes is just criticized to the fullest. You know what I mean? He goes out with his family, they're criticizing it. He goes to a party with a bunch of other people, he's criticized. Just everything about the guy's criticized. Now, do I think that we can continue to have him as our quarterback? Should we have signed him long term? No. You can't. Your biggest quality is your reliability, and you can't rely on someone that is always. I mean, all these players are one hit away from being done. You know what I mean? But he's average football plays away from missing 6 games a year. You know what I mean? Like the concussion last year against the Bills, that was an average football play. Like, he ran into the defender and he got the concussion, and it wasn't a bad hit. You know what I mean? It was DeMar Hamlin, the guy that died on the field. It wasn't too bad of a hit,
right.
He missed the last 3 weeks of the season from a wrap-up tackle that did something to his hip. Like, he's just too injury prone, and you can't win games when your quarterback's missing 6 weeks of the year every year. And not to mention, because Tua is the poster boy for concussions, every time he sustains one, because that first one was so bad with the fencing motion in Cincinnati, that they feel obligated to hold him out an extra long time to feed the masses, to make it all right with the media, because the media will crucify him if he returns in 2 weeks.
Right.
So, I mean, the concussion against the Bills last year, he was symptom free. He had no symptoms from that day on. You know what I mean? He wasn't experiencing headaches. He could have passed through the concussion protocol, but since it's Tua, they put him on injured reserve. He misses 5 games, and there goes our season. I mean, we missed the playoffs by 1 game. Tua Tagovailoa plays them 6 games he misses. We make the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're not. Oh my God, the world's burning right now. You know what I mean? We're not in the situation we're in right now. But because Tua is so injury prone, I think the quarterback position does need to be addressed. But if you're going to tear this team down, I don't want to see 7 wins. I don't want to see 8 wins. Listen, if we're going to trade Tyreek Hill, you better be trading Jalen Ramsey too. You better be trading the rest of any talent that we have on this team. You need to get out the door, because if we're going to lose, I want to lose. Let's lose where we have an opportunity to draft the top quarterback in the draft next year, not where we got the 14th pick in the draft next year too. and we miss out on all the top guys.
Is next year's draft going to be a quarterback draft? Is it like known for that? Or
Well,
is it way too soon?
I know Arch Manning will be eligible to come out, but I don't think he will be coming out. So I'm hearing there's some good quarterbacks, but I want Arch Manning. You know what I mean? He's got that bloodline. He got, you know what I mean?
So, James, is next year's draft known as a quarterback? Because I know you deep dive into that. So
a lot of people are speculating that the class will be a lot better than this year's, but I think that's a pretty low bar to clear. Because this year it seems like we've got Cam Ward, who's a clear first-round talent, and then a drop-off after that that's pretty severe. So, yes, it's going to be, but that's without even knowing who it's going to be. I think Big C's on the right path with Arch Manning. That's who everybody wants next year. So I think there's probably at least 10 teams that are hoping their team will get Arch Manning, and the Steelers are one of them. But beyond that, there's going to be some more guys too. There will be some people like the Penn State quarterback decided to go back for one more year, so he'll be eligible next year. There's going to be a lot of guys, and we'll see. We'll see. It should be a better class, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm actually glad we're talking about quarterbacks right now because there was something that kind of broke a couple days ago, and Derek Carr, he has injury in his shoulder, and he could be out for the season during his availability. So I'm just like, where do the Saints go from here? Where do the Saints go from here? Shador, you think?
Yeah.
What pick do they have again?
Like 9, I think. Yeah.
What if the Giants take him at 3? Because I know there's Giants fans that want him at 3.
Well, I feel like the Giants are almost. I mean, they signed 2 quarterbacks this offseason. I feel like if they were going quarterback, that they brought in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston.
Right.
I mean, maybe I could be wrong. And you say that Cam Ward is the clear-cut number 1. I see a lot of people that don't feel that way. A lot of real draft experts that really hunker down in the draft, they do not feel that way about Shador. They feel like Shador is just as good as Cam, if not better. Shador has a proven. I mean, Cam Ward has the better arm by far. You know what I mean? He's more athletic, but as far as accuracy, as far as leading your team down the field at crucial moments, Shador Sanders is that dude. And a lot of people feel Shador is even better than Cam, so it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. So, James, do you agree with that? Shador Sanders to the Saints, possibly?
I think that would be a great move for them if he's still available there. Because the thing about Shador is that it seems like you know where the floor is with him, right? He's an accurate, smart quarterback. He knows how to go through his progressions. He knows how to read a defense. He's not the Lamar Jackson type who's going to bust off 40 or 50-yard runs. It's not his game. He's not real tall. He doesn't have the cannon arm. But he's got a good arm. He is accurate. He knows how to read a defense. He's got the clutch genes. He can handle the pressure. So you're at least getting that stable line of this is an adequate guy. And I think that's a large portion of the appeal to Shador is that you know that you're not getting like a huge boomer bust scenario with him. You should be at least getting a decent quality guy right out of the gate. As to where a lot of the guys in this class, it's like one game they have a great game, and then the next game they throw 3 or 4 picks. You got a guy like Jalen Milroe, extreme athlete, cannon for an arm, can't hit the broadside of a barn on half his throws, can't read a defense, but one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. Like, you're having a tough time combining everything into one guy this year. So I think Shador is a very safe option. And if this is where they're at with Derek Carr and he's going to miss the season, I think the Saints should very strongly consider Shador at 9.
Yeah. And actually, I'm looking at the Saints depth chart right now, and their backup quarterback is Spencer Rattler and then Jake Haynes. So, yeah, they definitely need a quarterback. Oh, I forgot they had Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. Now there's a guy there.
I honestly forgot they had Ben DiNucci, but yes, they do need a quarterback. Um, maybe they could trade for like a veteran or something.
Yeah, Tua
Maybe.
Tagovailoa will trade him for second round pick.
What would you want? Oh, for a third round? You said third?
I'd take a second. I'd take a second for Tua just to get that contract off our books. You know what I mean? To be able to,
Right.
you know.
Uh-huh. And NFL Reality Check, who's actually the founder of Hardcore Sports Network. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. I think Cam and Sanders will make excellent quarterbacks for whoever they go. But in all honesty, oh my God, I believe in giving the right team, and Coach Milrow will be the best for all of them. Everyone said the same thing about Hurts, and look what he turned out to be. Milrow has everything he needs, just needs to put it in the work.
Who came out in the same draft as Jalen Hurts? Tua, who else? Burrow.
I
mean,
that,
Jalen Hurts isn't the best quarterback that came out in that draft.
No, but he knows how to win and win a Super Bowl.
I mean, your general manager knows how to put the right pieces together. I mean,
that too. But I'm just saying, Jalen Hurts is a
I think
winner.
If you put Jalen Hurts on a different team, he isn't near the quarterback that, you know what I mean? Let's not get to it. He's no Joe Burrow. He's not. I don't think he's as talented as Justin Herbert. I think if you play either of them two quarterbacks on the Eagles, they're better.
All right. See that. But yeah, with the Saints, I mean, shout out to my guy Philly halftime. He said that they should have traded for Kenny Pickett when they had a chance. Can you imagine if they had Kenny Pickett there with Kellen Moore? I mean, you had another quarterback right there, and James, you're probably laughing at this with Kenny Pickett. So
no, I don't think Kenny was the worst quarterback in the world. He just had an awful situation with one of the worst offensive coordinators in the history of mankind. And by the time they were smart enough to fire him, Kenny got hurt, and then that's when Mason took over and had that 3-game stretch that looked so good. So I think you might have seen better play from him if he was healthy after the firing of the offensive coordinator there. So you might still see more out of Kenny than what we've seen so far as a professional in the right situation with the right people around him. I don't know that Cleveland's going to bring that out of him, but it could happen for him down the road one day.
I am actually glad you brought out Cleveland because they just signed Joe Flacco.
Yep.
Why? What are the Browns doing? What are the Browns doing here?
They're still living in that world where Joe was their starting quarterback at the end of the season a couple of years ago, and they won all those games against the worst teams in the NFL. But he also threw 2 to 3 interceptions every single game during that stretch. So,
AK, if you want to hop on, man, just hop on. You can get on. Bro, stop. Are we really going there? Sorry, my GM does a job. I don't care how you look at it. Hurts is a winner, and it's all about wins. Yes, Burrow and Lamar are amazing, but what have they done? I'll wait. I guarantee Lamar would trade all 3 MVPs for 1 ring. There is 5 quarterbacks to sign. Really? There's 5 left? Really? I never knew that. Thank you.
Well, first off, there's third string players on the Eagles teams that have as many more Super Bowls than Lamar Jackson. If you got a perfect team around you, come on, let's be realistic. I'm not shitting on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts he brings a strong element to the game. His athleticism and his running ability are top notch. You know what I mean? He is they built a perfect team around him. So he's not a bad quarterback, but let's not act like he's this world beater. You know what I mean? Like if he didn't have the best offensive line in football his whole career, if he didn't have Saquon last year, you know what I mean? Like he's a good quarterback. I'm not taking anything away. He's not a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know. Actually, we got some news. I don't know if you guys actually heard of this, but Kyron Lacy passed away, the wide receiver. Former LSU wide receiver Kyron Lacey passed away last night. I'm getting notes that alerts that it was like suicide.
He was supposed to be in the draft, right?
Wasn't he, James?
I'm not familiar with the name, to be honest with you.
I know there
Oh.
was a Lacey wide receiver.
I can find it pretty quick as far as the.
Cleveland don't need all those quarterbacks. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Vic. Your Steelers need something. Hey, AK.
What's up, bud?
What's up, man? We're just talking about Kyron Lacey. I don't know if you heard about this last night or that he passed away, a former wide
No, I
receiver.
didn't.
Yeah. Thank you, Vic. You showed me it, and then a lot of people started sending me it in Discord server. So, RIP to him. That sucks. Very young guy. I'm gonna look up his age right now, actually. So AK, what you want to talk about?
No, I just stopped in. Listen, I understand everything that you're saying about Hurts, man. Same thing they said about
24.
Joe Montana whenever Joe Montana first came out. Weak arm, all this crap. All I'm saying is that I have come to realize over these last few years watching football and watching what Howie has done, seeing how many first round quarterbacks have not made it, how many quarterbacks have been decent in the league that were not first round picks. Talent isn't everything, dude. It is a mindset, it is heart, it is work ethic, it is consistency. I will take Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow and Lamar any day. It does not matter about my team, bro. My team is my team because my GM built my team. I'm not going to knock my quarterback for what my GM did. Okay. I have 2 star-studded wide receivers. That's not Jalen's fault. It's not my fault. That's not my team's fault. How he did his job, it is what it is. All I'm saying is that I'm not going to discredit my quarterback for doing his job, even though my GM went out and got him weapons. Joe Burrow has 2 dynamic wide receivers. Yeah,
Yeah,
nothing.
no defense.
It
No
doesn't.
offensive line.
Listen,
Listen.
You can be a homer all you want.
It's not. No, dude. Don't call me a homer, bro.
I mean,
I'm not a
he is
homer.
being.
I'm
I
telling
am
you right
not
now,
even
he is
close
not.
to being a
Being a
homer.
homer.
I'm
I
telling
am
you right
telling you
now, he
right
is
now,
not.
dude. I am not a fucking homer. I might wear the eagle, but I love fucking football in general. Like I don't just talk Eagles football, dude. I'm telling you, I love all
Okay,
these quarterbacks,
he'll
but
be
it is
back.
about the fucking ring that you wear on your finger and the W's that you have.
Which is a
Okay,
team
my
accomplishment.
quarterback does
It's a
not
team
lose.
accomplishment.
Huh?
It's a team accomplishment.
I understand that, bro. But
And
it does go with the quarterback. The quarterback has to throw the football. You
You're
you can
absolutely
have
right.
a
He
great
does,
team.
but that
You
doesn't
can
make
have a
him better
great
than Joe
team,
Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
bro.
I'm not saying he's not a top 10 quarterback per se, but to act like you would take him over Lamar Jackson is ludicrous.
I was like, everything okay? You good, James?
Yeah, sorry. Things freaked out on my end here.
All good, man. All good. Just wanted to make sure you were okay.
So wait, so you're saying that I'm crazy because I would take my quarterback over Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow?
I mean, they're the better quarterbacks.
But why? How? Because of their arm talent, because of who they are and where they were drafted. What to you
Coach, I
tells
second
you
link.
that
You
they
want
are
to-
better than mine? What?
Just the eye test, they are better
No.
quarterbacks. than
What
Jalen
tells
Hurts.
you that those guys are better than mine?
What
Bro,
tells you
eye
that
test
Jalen Hurts is
alone.
better than them? Because he's got a ring.
Because he has a ring and his win record proves it. The team, yes, it is a team effort, dog, but you can have a good team, have a shitty quarterback with shitty quarterback play
You're
and go
right.
nowhere.
And no one ain't saying
have
that he's
seen
a.
it.
I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is a shitty quarterback. I'm not saying that he's a shitty quarterback and you could take Daniel Jones and plug him into the Eagles and they'd win a Super Bowl. I don't think they would. I gave Jalen Hurts as props, but to say that he's better than Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, that's just not facts.
Okay, listen, from an athlete, I will give you from an athletic standpoint. From an all-around intangibles as a quarterback, they are better talents. But when it comes to being an actual quarterback, they're not better. I'm sorry. They're not. And to
How do
be
you
an
figure?
actual
How do you
quarterback, it
figure?
takes more than just being athletic and talented. Joe Burrow and Lamar, very athletic, very talented, but they ain't got it all though.
They got more than Lamar. They got more than Jalen Hurts.
No, they don't. That's why Burrow has done nothing since his Super Bowl run his second year. He has literally done nothing. I don't care about the defense. That's his GM's job. I'm not giving him any. I'm not even looking at the defensive side of the ball. Okay. I'm literally looking at him. We have watched Deshaun Watson go off in Houston with no ones. We have watched Brock Purdy literally ball out, and somebody who shouldn't even be balling out, ball out on the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, because the talent around him, just like Jalen Hurts.
Yes, they have talent, but the dude still has to throw the ball, dude.
I'm not saying
I'm not gonna. I'm not
I'm
gonna
not saying
disclaimer
he
Brock
doesn't.
Purdy because of the talent around him. Just like I'm not gonna sit here and down my quarterback just because of the talent around him.
All right,
I'm
so
not
put
gonna sit here and I'm not gonna beef up Joe Burrow because of the less talent around him, and I'm not gonna beef up Lamar because of the less talent around him. In fact, Lamar doesn't have that excuse because Lamar has all the talent. Burrow, you can use that on, but Lamar, no.
Lamar don't have the team that the Eagles.
Come
He's had good teams, but
Come
not the
on,
Eagles.
stop.
Are you serious?
Yes, come on.
Name the best receiver that's ever played for Baltimore while he's been there.
Bro, that's their only downfall. They're their entire team.
That's a pretty big downfall to have, right? You just said
Yeah.
you got two. You just said you got two all-pro receivers. The best
But
running
once
back in the
again,
game.
when you
the
have
best
a
offensive
person
line
that
in the
is
game,
dynamic
the best
as
defense in the game.
Lamar,
Like, come on, bro.
you only need one wide receiver. Now, it's not my fault that the wide receivers
didn't
that
say
they've
it was your
drafted over
fault.
the
I didn't
last
say it
few
was.
years.
I didn't say it
No,
was.
dude, it's not my fault that the receivers that they've drafted
I
over the
said it
last
was.
few years haven't panned out for them. That's not the Ravens' fault. That's not Lamar's fault. That is the people that they've drafted. The same reason that Howie catches shit still today about drafting Whiteside over fucking Jefferson. Like it just sometimes they don't work out, dude.
You're absolutely right, and no one's saying that. You're trying to make more of what I'm saying. I'm not blaming the GM. Good for them. I wish I had that GM. I wish I had the team the Eagles did. But Jalen Hurts ain't better
Jason's
than them
like,
quarterbacks.
yeah.
He's a good quarterback. He does what's needed of him. He's a fantastic runner. That's the best part of his game is his legs.
Yeah. No, I understand that is the best part of Lamar's. But I've also seen Lamar. I have also seen Lamar in some very important games where the game has been on the line and the dude has literally sank the game with literally a minute left. Now, some of them have been his tight end dropping the ball. I will admit that, especially on two of those 2-point conversions. But the point is, bro, as much talent on defense that Baltimore has, they should be able to withstand the ability that Lamar has and the talent that they have, especially with Henry last year. That wide receivers aren't as important to Baltimore. In fact, wide receivers haven't always ever been important to Baltimore. Never. I mean, seriously, they haven't been.
You put Jalen Hurts on the Baltimore Ravens, they're not a playoff team.
You're out your mind.
Yeah.
You are out your mind.
Who's that tight end again? Who's the Ravens tight end?
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews.
That's what I thought. Okay. I was just curious.
You
I
are
forgot the name.
you are out your mind, bro. I don't respect to you, but that's completely bogus.
Agree to disagree. All right. I'm fine with that. I get that. So, AK, while you're here, man, it looks like Derek Carr got a shoulder injury, and he's going to be out for like a while. So, what do you think they'll do at quarterback? Do you think they'll go with Sanders or make a trade?
I have no idea, man. I mean, that just recently happened too, right? So I'm
2
sure
days
they're
ago,
just
yeah.
kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure it out themselves.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
it's crazy.
They
Derek
could.
Carr, in my opinion, should have been done. Like, is it me or my opinion? Is he overrated? I'm asking you guys. Do you think Derek Carr is overrated?
I think Derek Carr was a really good mid-tier quarterback for a number of
That's what I
years,
thought.
and I
Yeah.
don't think he ever made it to elite. And I don't think that he would ever been like top 5 in his conference either. So, I mean, can you win with a guy like him? Yeah, but I think you're in the same situation as some of these other mid-tier guys where you don't expect to ever make a serious playoff run with a guy like that.
Big C, is Derek Carr overrated?
I mean, I don't know what people consider Derek Carr. I don't like he was saying. I don't think he was ever he had 1 year where I think he was in the MVP race for a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think he was a victim of a lot of bad coaching with the Raiders. I don't think he ever reached the potential that they thought he would be. I don't think he was ever better than a top 13, 14 quarterback in the league at best. So
Yeah. I'm just gonna bring up the stats right here. I know stats don't tell the whole thing, but his record alone is 77-92. I just found that out. Wow. I did not even know that. How many years has he been in the league? When did he get drafted? When did he get drafted?
Say
In 2014.
2012.
No, 14. So he's been in the league for that long? 10, 11. I did not even. It's amazing how time flies by.
It's
Like,
amazing how
seriously.
fast the Raiders completely swapped, man, from 2015. They
Yeah,
had a
I
really
mean,
that was his MVP year, I believe, in 15. His only
here,
year.
let's.
He was
I'm
like
gonna
runner
show
up
that.
to it or whatever till he injured his leg in the playoffs. Or no, it was regular season, I guess.
It was wasn't it 2016 when they were
16.
12-3? Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
looking at it
16.
right now. Yeah.
Trying to remember for that far back. It's a little ways, but yeah, no, that was a really good team, man. And then it all just got blown up. That was when they had Khalil Mack and
Yeah. No.
yeah, no, Amari
The
Cooper
Raiders,
was a Raider. Like, dude, that was a long, long time ago. That was a really good team back in the day. But
and then look what they got now. They got Geno Smith. I feel like they overpaid for him, and they got who's their coach? Pete Carroll. So
yeah,
I feel like, what are they doing? And what pick did they have again? 4, 5,
7, 6,
7,
6.
6, 6. All right. I don't know if they can turn it around with Pete Carroll as their head coach, though. I don't think so. I don't
I
see
heard
that
the
happening.
rumor that Chip Kelly's there. Is that true?
He's our offense coordinator.
Oh, can't wait to see how that works out. To be honest,
Right.
I never thought anyone would give him another chance after what he did to us and then what he did to the 49ers. But hey, I guess you go to college and have a few good years, you can always come back.
Yeah. Oh, right. He was from Ohio State. They won. Damn it. Damn, I hate that part. But yeah, James, how do you feel about the Raiders right now in their history? You think they can turn it around this year or go in the right direction?
No, probably not. I don't think they're very good, and it's going to take some really good draft classes to turn it around at this stage. You're letting top talent like Josh Jacobs walk away, and they just
Forgot
don't
about
seem.
Jacobs.
Yeah, they don't seem to have a great plan going on there, and the execution is worse than the plan is. So I think you could expect them to probably win 4 or 5 games this upcoming season.
I'm pretty sure they're cursed at this point.
I think they are, dude. I honestly think they are. Shout out to all my friends who are Raiders content creators, but dang, man. Dang, it sucks. I don't know where to go from here. But AK, let me ask you this. We talked about Tyreek Hill possibly getting traded, or it's likely. Do you see him getting traded? Tyreek Hill or no?
I know he did say at the end of last year he wanted out. Well, I mean, I guess he didn't come out and say that, but that's what he sounded like he wanted to do. I have no idea. I mean, I don't even know what Miami's doing. I mean, I guess you could fill me on that. I know Tua can't take another head injury, dude. If he does, I don't know how he's gonna be. Um, I've always had respect for Miami, dude. First and foremost, love your colors, man. That powder blue crap is awesome over there. Is that powder blue? What is that?
It's an aqua.
Aqua? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's just fire, dude. And orange is my favorite color, so always love their jerseys. But nah, man, I definitely want to see the Dolphins. Have some good years ahead of them. I thought Tua was going to turn that around, but fortunately, he can't keep his head on. So um, I don't know, man. If he wants out, I wouldn't try to keep him around and destroy the locker room or have any disputes. So if he wants out, just get rid of him, get some draft capital for him, and do what you got to do, I guess. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
I mean, he's done a lot of I mean, off the field stuff. I'm agree with BC in the Big C in the beginning. Um, it's not really our place to tell and judge. That's just like how he is. We can't control that. So for me, I'm just like, you just gotta take a step forward and maybe just cut slate, take the cap hit, kind of like what the Eagles did with Carson Wentz at one time, and look what happened since then.
Well, I
Wait,
think
So
are
I,
you guys having a big cap hit for him?
yeah, if we trade him, it's going to cost us an extra $500,000. So $28 million cap hit. If we trade him before June 1st, it's an extra 500,000 against us.
What's it after June? Oh, it's 28 no matter what.
After June 1st, it's 14 off of that. So
Well, that's a little better than 28, but yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't think it makes sense a draft day trade. I don't think he necessarily wants to be out of there. Tyreek Hill is immature. If he wakes up and nobody's talking about him, he posts something on X that makes people talk. You know what I mean? He'll throw up a peace sign. He'll do this. He'll do that. Did he say he wanted out at the end of the year? Absolutely. He was frustrated. He felt that the team wasn't getting him the ball like they had in prior years. He was frustrated with Tua constantly being hurt. That cost him the playoffs last year. Does he want to be out of Miami? I don't think so. It's beautiful weather down there. It's no state income tax. He's a god down there. I mean, what's much better? You know what I mean? I think he was speaking out of frustration, but waking up every day and seeing everybody talk shit about you on X can't be great neither. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'll be devastated if he's traded. But they do it. He wasn't wrong. Our front office is a joke. We haven't built the, I have respect for the Philadelphia Eagles just because we don't agree upon where Jalen Hurts stands as a quarterback. I think he's a talented player. I think he's a good player. Nothing against him. I constantly this offseason have pointed to the Philadelphia Eagles how you build a team. You build a team just like the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the blueprint right now in the NFL. You build through the trenches. They got the best trenches in all of football. You know what I mean? And a perfect example of what good trenches can do for a player is Saquon Barkley. Look at Saquon's career with the Giants. He had a good rookie year, fantastic rookie year. After that, I mean, he dealt with some injuries, but after that, very mediocre numbers. 1 year with Philadelphia with the best offensive line in all of football. He's the greatest player in football. You know what I mean? Like, that's what good trenches will do. And Howie Roseman's drafting is impeccable. You got players like you guys lost some big players this offseason, but you guys haven't missed a beat because you guys got your second, third stringers that are just as good. ready to step up, and you know what I mean, because you drafted so well. So I have respect for the Philadelphia Eagles. I love your Kelly Green outfit, your uniforms. You know what I mean? I was thinking about getting me a Kelly Green jersey. I like him so much. So
I'll take that Merino jersey behind you.
Yeah. I don't want you to feel like I was taking shots at your quarterback. Like, he did win. A lot of players don't have the mentality, no matter how good the team is around them. You know what I mean? So kudos to him. He is a good quarterback. I believe he is a top 10 quarterback. So, I mean, we disagree a little bit on where the overall
real quick
rankings
on
are.
this stuff. Let me ask you one quick question. If he wins another Super Bowl, you still putting him below Burrow?
Talent
Still going
wise,
to put him below Lamar?
talent wise, I believe he is. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying talent wise, but I've already gave them that credit. Like Lamar and Burrow, by far, talent wise, arm strength and everything, has him beat. But as an all around quarterback, I mean, you know, he went. I've come to realize with Jalen, it's always going to be something else with everyone else.
If you're talking about
they're never going to give him his props. No one's ever going to. He's never going to be put in the top 2. He's never going to be put in the top 3, no matter how many Super Bowls he wins. And I've come to face that. So what's he got to do to put him there for you? Let me put it that way.
I mean, if you're talking about like final rankings for a career, if he wins, you know what I mean? Can he have a better career than Lamar Jackson? Yeah. I mean, the Super Bowls help, you know what I mean? It's just it's a difficult thing to, especially with a quarterback that does have a lot of talent. We're not talking about a Trent Dilfer where, you know, you won a Super Bowl with the Ravens because of the defense. You know, Jalen Hurts was a big part of them winning a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's not one of those categories where it's a bad quarterback on a good team and he won, so he's clear cut behind Lamar Jackson. No, but I mean, you know, if he goes out there and wins 4 or 5 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowls, and Lamar Jackson never wins one, I mean, I would say that Jalen Hurts had the better career. Absolutely.
I think he needs to be greedy too. I think he needs to take over one of these seasons and just bomb it downfield over and over. He's got awesome receivers. Those guys will go get it. I think he just needs to be greedy and put up 4,000 yards and 35 touchdown passes and just put up a dominant passing season to shut up some of the haters, you know. And I'm not calling Big C a hater. I don't think he's far from it. But realistically, what some people are going to say is holding him back in the comparison is putting up the elite passing numbers that we see from some of the other guys. I think you have to give guys credit for being clutch in the playoffs and being clutch in the Super Bowl and winning, but nobody's mistaking Terry Bradshaw for an elite quarterback, even though he's got 4 Super Bowl wins. He's like a 52% completion guy in his career, but in those big games, he put his best performances up. And I think that Jalen Hurts goes down as a better quarterback than what Terry was. And I think with the team around him, he can pull off those 3 or 4 Super Bowl wins.
Let me give you a great comparison. Sorry. Let me give you a great comparison. You got Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders. Now, Emmitt Smith had one of the best lines in all of football, had great receivers, great quarterbacks, great defenses. He's the all-time leading rusher in NFL history. Got Super Bowl wins.
You're stealing my take, by the way.
Who is the better running back?
Because no lie, I always go to this because I'm telling you, you swap them. If you swap them, bro, Emmitt Smith isn't even a thought in anyone's aftermind. Barry Sanders would have crushed every freaking record. You wouldn't even touch it to this day. Like it would have been blown out of proportion so bad. Like,
if you
know what I mean?
Them 49er teams, you know what I mean? Like,
that's right. Yeah. No, I get it.
So, you know, I do feel that if you put Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson on the Eagles, I think they would be that much better. But they're a great team right now. I can see them winning another Super Bowl next year. And you know, when it's all said and done, maybe he does end up pulling ahead of those guys, you know.
And James, on your point, bud, I love what you said about the 4,000 yards and to shut the haters up. But that's one thing people have got to realize about this kid. Jalen is not a 4,000-yard passer. You'll probably never get a 4,000-yard season out of the kid. 32 to 35 is probably what you get. And I'm okay with that as an Eagle fan
Hmm.
because guess what? From what I found out so far, it's got me to 5 playoff appearances and it got me to 2 Super Bowls
Yeah.
and 1 win. I don't care about elite arm strength if he can't win. That's what makes Pat Mahomes amazing. He's not just elite, he also wins. You know, it is what it is. Everyone likes their QBs different. I've just come to figure out over these last 10 years or so, the talented guy always isn't the best guy. And that's where Jalen falls for me. Yeah, he's not the most talented guy, but he is the best guy when it comes for what we need him to do. I
Yeah,
don't need a
that
4,000-yard passer. He'll never be that guy. So if that's what you're waiting on, forget it.
and
But
listen, I would take Jalen Hurts if I'm a fan. I'm taking Jalen Hurts' career over Lamar Jackson's career all day. Them rings is
yeah,
what matters. Winning,
Yeah.
winning is what matters. So, I mean, I think we're just maybe we're just there's a difference in words that it's not being brought upon. Like maybe we're just not expressing ourselves fully for the other one to
no, we just like
understand.
our quarterbacks different. That's
Well,
all, and
no,
that's okay.
because I'll take a quarterback any type of way they can win. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'll take Jalen Hurts if he's gonna give me W's. You know what I mean? But if you put Patrick Mahomes, he wins. They got great teams over there in Kansas City too. They got a great head coach. They got a great
Yeah.
general manager. But
Sure.
the Kansas City Chiefs are far less talented than the Philadelphia Eagles are. But
Yeah.
because Patrick Mahomes is this great, great, great player, maybe the greatest we've ever seen at the position, he elevates them to a consistent Super Bowl contender. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But though doesn't that also put a negative mark on Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson? Because wouldn't you say all 3 of those guys had better teams than Pat last year, except for Burrow, and they still completely tanked him? And I mean, Allen hasn't beat him yet in the playoffs. Neither has Lamar. So it's like,
Well, I think Kansas City has one of the greatest coaches. I think Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all
for
time.
sure. I will always regret getting rid of him, and I
And
hate
I,
my Eagle fans for forcing him out. But hey,
yeah, I mean,
it is what it is.
he's had a stretch that you can say Bill Belichick this, that, and the third, but the
Yeah.
way that Andy Reid has taken the Philadelphia Eagles to so many conference championship games, a Super Bowl appearance, and the Kansas City Chiefs with a multitude of different players. It's not like he had Tom Brady for 20 years and this is what we produced together. He did with Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Alex
Yeah.
Smith, Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? 4 different quarterbacks.
Well, I mean, he's
Uh,
the first head coach to have 100 wins with each team. I mean, he's the only coach to ever do that in history. So,
but I do think it's unfair to I don't think Lamar Jackson's an all-time great. I don't think that Josh Allen's an all-time great. So it's unfair to to compare Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, what they do to what Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that those quarterbacks are on Patrick Mahomes' level. I think there's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. That's me.
well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
no. I was going off based off of what you said earlier about how it's a team. Well, it is a team, and yes, Pat Mahomes is very, very talented, way far more talented than anyone we're talking about right now. And I
Yeah.
agree, he's probably the best one to ever do it. But they also had really, really good teams. I can't sit here and say that Josh Allen shouldn't have beat Pat Mahomes in that championship game. The Bills were by
He
far
should
the
have.
better team in that game,
They
but he
should have.
didn't do it.
Yeah.
Huh?
They should have, but he's not.
Yeah.
I don't play him on the same level as Patrick Mahomes. So
No, but when you have a talented team like that around you, you should be that's where the gap is made up. You know what I mean? That's where Jalen Hurts made up his gap in the Super Bowl with Pat. Because yes, he's not as talented as Pat, but he has the people around him who are talented enough to beat Pat. So he used them properly enough to do it. Now, granted, that is also coaching as well, and scheming, but like I said, the Bills had a talented enough team to beat him. So did the Rams, or the Ravens. I mean, but none of them did.
I agree.
So that's all I'm saying, man. I look at that. Yeah, their team probably wasn't as good as ours, but the Ravens and the Bills, we beat them in the regular season, but we didn't blow them out. You know what I mean? They were competitive with us. So if you can stay competitive with us, why are you losing to Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think they're intimidated. You know, they see Pat walking in the door, and
It's the haircut, bro.
Josh Allen can't have that dick swing contest with him. He can't beat him. You know what I mean? He can do that with everybody else. He can't do that to Josh or to Patrick. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you guys this. This was a hot take on one of our shows yesterday called A Weekend Wake Up with me and Philly Halftime. Someone said in the chat that Patrick Mahomes is not on the same level as Tom Brady or even a Peyton Manning. And I'm like, that's the hottest take I've ever heard. Because for me, I think Mahomes.
Did he give a reason why before we go into this? Because I would love to hear his take why he's not.
I gotta remember. Let me go back and check. I don't remember, but let me go back and check right now. Give me a
Because
second.
it's got to be a wild why.
Yeah, I gotta look. Let me just look at that. Give me a second here. But yeah, that was the hottest take I've ever heard. I don't know if he was trolling or not, but give me 1 second here and let me go back.
I think Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are on different levels, but I think it's because Patrick Mahomes is on a higher level. And a lot of people aren't going to like that, but regardless of how you feel about it, one of those guys got busted cheating over and over and over and over, pretty much with every single championship. And then the other guy hasn't been busted once because he's not cheating. So it's a pretty easy comparison to me. It's Mahomes all day.
Yeah, let me. I'm just looking here just to see if it's not
and
on my
another
chat.
thing too, man. You got to realize too, right now in their careers, as far as they sit, Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady's careers are pretty much identical to one another's. They both started out with fantastic defenses. Okay. Because let's be honest, the first 3 Super Bowls Tom ever won, he won off his defenses. Wasn't him. Okay. And 2, their divisions were kind of crap. Well, so's Pat's. It's getting better, but it is crap. Now, I'm not discrediting him by any means. He still has everyone he's ever beat. I'm just saying, we all look at Tom's thing and we could say we guarantee 8 wins every year for Tom in that division at the time, correct? We could almost guarantee that because of the Bills, they were terrible. No offense, but Dolphins were bad and so forth at the time. Now, you look at Pat's, everyone in that division is just now starting to get better. You know, the Chargers just came on last year, so I expect a bigger. So I'm just saying he's had it easy in his division, but out of the whole thing, nah, man, he's earned every ring he's ever got.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, even with the defense was underrated. What was it? 2 years ago?
Because he's been working with semi old school receivers too. You know.
Let's see. I'm trying. My God, it's really difficult when you go live on 3 different channels just to find a comment. Oh yeah, where is it?
I mean, as of right now, Tom Brady is still the greatest quarterback of all time. You can't dismiss his accomplishments as a whole. I mean, Patrick Mahomes could suffer, God forbid, suffer a career-ending injury next year, and I think he's still a Hall of Famer. But I don't think you could surpass Tom Brady as the greatest of all time already. You know, he's still got some work to do. Super Bowl wins are a team accomplishment, but Tom Brady owns every major record. You know, he did play for 20 years, so there is that. But Tom Brady was a great quarterback. I think Peyton Manning was the most intelligent quarterback the league's ever seen. He just didn't have the arm talent that some other players might have had.
Yeah.
But still a fantastic. He was deadly accurate, but he didn't have the arm strength. You know what I mean? But most intelligent quarterback by far. But I don't think, and I'm biased to a point, but I don't think a lot of these quarterbacks could hold a candle to Dan Marino. I think Patrick Mahomes absolutely could as far as arm talent, but
Right.
those guys, you put Tom Brady in the 80s, early 90s, he ain't surviving. You know what I mean? You put even Peyton Manning, he barely survived his career in the 2000s. Yeah, I mean, he dealt with neck injury. It was a different football game back then. I mean, when Marino was throwing for 5,000 yards, it was unheard of. When Marino threw for 40 plus touchdown passes, it was unheard of. You know what I mean? So I think Dan Marino, he doesn't get the credit that is due because he didn't have the teams around him. And he ran into the Buffalo Bills. He ran into the John Elway, Denver Broncos teams. The one Super Bowl, he did run into Joe Montana and them San Francisco 49ers. But arm talent wise, I mean, I think the three greatest arm talents this league has ever seen are Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, let me ask you this: Is God Dan Marino the greatest quarterback that I've never won a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Just thought I'd say
No,
that.
listen, he's not wrong, dude. Look, first and foremost, please tell me who the fuck was on this man's team. Like, let's be honest. Who the fuck was on his team? I think you had one tight end, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, the Dolphins back in the day?
Yeah, for Marino, you guys had one fucking tight end.
Well, for the first few years of Marino's career, we had Duper and Clayton. Which they were, they were decent receivers, but I think they were elevated by Marino.
Yeah.
But other than that,
no one, right?
We
didn't even have a fucking halfback.
No running game whatsoever.
No.
A bunch of receivers that, if you're not a Dolphins fan, you wouldn't know if I said them to you. You know what I mean?
Right? Exactly. Only reason I know of them is because I Googled the shit. But I'm just saying, man. Like, he had no one, man, and all he did was win.
I'm interviewing OJ McDuffie tomorrow. If you know him.
Nice.
That's amazing, dude. That is amazing. Congrats.
That is crazy.
But no, man, Marino definitely by far the greatest to ever do it and not win, dude. Seriously, by far.
Wow. Again, I wasn't around in that time, so I had to ask.
Better go watch those videos, boy.
I will.
Yeah, you got to pull out the VHS tapes, bro.
Don't worry, I watched Ace Ventura. I watched that, so I don't know if that counts. I watched that.
That does not count, sir.
Come on,
not even close.
Lace is out. Anyways, guys, we really appreciate everyone tuning in to the NFL Sunday Morning Show. My guy James from Steelers by the Lake podcast, Big C from Posse Finn Posse podcast, and NFL Reality Check, the founder of Hardcore Sports Network. James, what do you guys have coming up next?
A couple more shows before the draft, and then we're going to do a bunch of live shows during the draft. So you should be able to catch us on YouTube, maybe even TikTok and Facebook too during those picks.
Yep. And then Big C, what else do you got besides that big interview tomorrow?
Tomorrow evening I got Dudley Do-Wrong. If the Dolphin community knows who he is, he's a big Dolphin podcaster. He's got over 50,000 subs. So I got him on tomorrow night. Like I said, I got OJ McDuffie tomorrow morning. There's these people in the Dolphins dive bar, it's called. They're getting these pro players that are on the team constantly. I don't know how the hell they're doing it, but it's driving me nuts.
Right.
Like they've had Raheem Mostert on. They had Teron Armstead, who was our starting left tackle till he just retired. They've had Xavier Howard on, who was a cornerback for the Dolphins. I don't know how they're doing it, but I'd like to know.
Yeah, me too.
Because I've been sending a million X messages. I just had the Dolphins beat reporter. He writes for Sports Illustrated on my channel on
Yep.
Friday. Alan Poupart. So
Yeah, guys, please go check out Film Posse Podcast if you guys haven't already. I have great content. I love how you keep it real, especially the whole Tyreek Hill situation. I love that. So, AK, when are you coming back?
Well, I've kind of already been back, man.
I mean, on your own channel. Let's say that.
In time, I'll be back. I'm fine.
Okay. All
Dude,
right,
there's
guys.
nothing to talk about right now. Literally, the only thing to talk about is what 40 other damn people have been talking about for the past month. Why do I want to do that?
I don't know. I thought you wanted to come back and talk football.
yeah, it's
Well,
rough.
I do, but I will do it whenever I have something to talk about. Right now, everyone's just chasing their tail, dude.
That is true. That's why I'm talking basketball, and yeah, my Sixers are not doing too well.
That's why I'm
But,
playing Madden right now, dude, because I'm getting all my Madden in. Because once podcasting starts and my real estate thing starts up here, as soon as it clears up,
Yeah, I
I'm
forgot
gonna be
about that.
busy. So
I forgot about that.
I'm gonna just do me for right now, and then here as soon as I'll probably be live draft night, honestly.
That works.
There you go.
And guys, for me, you can just catch me on Hardcore Sports Network, Mitch Topsy, if you want Sixers content, basketball. But other than that, guys, we'll catch you guys later. Hit that like, hit that sub, hit that notification bell. We are out, guys. We are out. Have a good one. Peace.